Hey everyone! Wow, it feels like it's been a long time since I posted a video, but I've been busy in my craft room and I have a do-it-yourself project that I think you guys are going to love. If you like to color your own paper, all these little mason jars was colored using my ink pads and an ink dauber. And if you like this finger dauber, or perhaps you use Tim Holtz ink applicator, or maybe you have some of these, or perhaps you use makeup sponges or makeup little eye applicators. And there's a whole lot of other ones you can have, even something like this. Or you have these. All these were new. Plastic still on it. And I went to use them and the sponges just fell right off. So using these really set me on my journey of making my own ink daubers. Now, I had my 9-year-old son do an experiment with these two and the ones that I made. So let me show you guys. If you love spools, I have another way that you could alter them and make your own ink daubers. Now this is the very basic one. These are just regular, well, I can't say regular size spools because they come in different sizes, but maybe it's about 2 inches in height, and they're the white plastic ones. I got a bag of these from, I think, a thrift store. I'm not even sure where I got them from. And so I know they're old, and so the thread may not be usable. But my first thought was to keep the thread on because the thread color will determine the color of the ink dauber. Thought that was pretty clever. But then I thought, these are so cute. I don't think spools will ever go out of style. And so I thought, well, let me step it up a bit and decorate it. And so I remembered that I had washi tape. This washi tape is really coming in handy. This is by We Are Memories Keepers, but you can use any brand. If you're looking for an excellent way of storing your thin dies, then check out my video on how to store wafer thin dies, because I use this same washi tape. So the blue color will determine what color the ink dauber is. So let me just go ahead and grab the ones that I did, because I stepped it up a notch again when I remembered that I had trim. Yeah. Now this washi tape was wider than the spool, so it gave it that crimply texture, which turned out perfect because I wasn't really concerned about any mistakes. Like you'll see on some of these, you could see the hot glue. They just came out super cute. Like there's a web right there. Really cute. Yeah, so I had about 9 of these, and they were really easy to make. I was so proud of myself because I recycled, upcycled, and turned these spools into something that I could sit up on a shelf, right? Because they're so cute, you could look at them. But even better, they really work. I'm going to demonstrate just how well they work for you in a second. But I was so excited, I had to buy something to sit or to house these ink daubers. And so today it arrived in the mail. This is a wrought iron thread holder that I picked up from Amazon. It's a nice weight. They had another one in the shape of a sewing machine, but it didn't have good enough reviews for me to get. But this one is actually nice, and it holds 24 spools, so it'll be perfect to hold all the ink daubers I will ever need. I think it's so cute. Look at it. You just pop on the ink daubers. They fit perfectly. And if I wanted to, I have these smaller stools. I can place that on the bottom or put a bobbin down there. first. But isn't that cute? I absolutely love it. And so because my mind was just going and going and going, I thought, well, what else could I use as ink daubers? And I came across these cork pieces. Yeah, you can take these and make these into ink daubers. And actually, this size and shape works very well. Now, but they come in different sizes and different shapes. This particular size and shape worked very well for me. I had my 9-year-old do a little experiment using Tim Holtz, the finger dauber, and one of my custom-made ink daubers. And so he picked up Tim Holtz for the second time, and then he picked up mine for the second time and stated, oh yeah, this one is better. He said that you could cover more surface with it, but what was really important was it felt good in his hands. This size and this shape has a natural ergonomical feel to it, and it feels really good, so much better than already my finger is starting to numb up with this finger dauber. Tim Holtz works good, looks good, but you know what? I will put this one up against Tim Holtz any day. I think it works better, but you know it looks better. Love you, Tim Holtz. So yeah, you can use your cork pieces. You can try out the different sizes for your spools. Actually, this one don't feel too bad. It's wider, thicker than this one. But hey, you can try it. In the mail today, I got my order of spools. I was so excited when I made these, and I needed more for additional colors, that I went on eBay trying to find some that look like these. So these came in the mail. They're supposed to be vintage, I think back from the 60s or 70s. But as you can see, it's smaller. So I am going to try these out. I could tell already I love this size and how this one feels, but I think this one will work just as good. And I think I got 15 of those for $8. Now let's see how that's going to look. Now the reason why mine are not going to the bottom is because I don't have a hole. I didn't want to put a hole in the center of the foam. So I think it looks cute on the top too. So I'm going to come back with a video in about a week with all of these altered and with my holder spray painted to show you guys how that came out. Now, how did I make these? Well, I started off using Stays On foam. This type of ink dried out really quick, and I'm so happy I didn't throw this away. And so I just took the foam, used my Sizzix circle die, this circle here, and I was able to die cut 2 circles out. You will need the steel roll die to cut through the foam because it's pretty dense. And actually the foam from this particular ink pad works very good. I like it because this type of foam will take the pigment ink and the dye ink. I have a different product I'm going to show you as well, but it doesn't take both dye and pigment. So I'm so happy that I kept the ink, the foam pads. Now, so what you do is you die cut your circle and you just hot glue it on your spool. Of course, if you want to first, you can add your washi tape and add your ribbon or whatever you're going to add. But it was just as simple as that. I used hot glue to glue it on there. And although some of my Stays On foams were darker colors, it didn't matter. because when I applied the ink to the dauber, it took on the color of the ink. And so don't worry about your if your pad is stained or not. You should be able to use it just fine. And you know what? It still feels soft. You know, some foam can become crumbly, but StazOn used a very good ink pad. So yeah, I was able to complete most of my spools using my recycled foam pads from my StazOn pads. Now, let me see. Okay, let me show you this. I was so happy about making these spools that I decided I might want to have a bigger ink applicator. And so I picked up this spool from Beverly's. It's $4. Use your coupon, cheaper than that. So I decided that I was going to decorate a bigger spool and make me a oversized ink applicator. What I had in mind was something that was interchangeable. I could take off the pad and put a different color on for a different color and just pop it back on. And the reason why I thought I needed a big applicator is to do larger sheets of paper. Now, these are small, but I had in mind to do like an 8.5 by 11 size piece of paper because I really like the idea of customizing my own colors. I didn't want to do, well, the reason why this all came to mind is because I'm working with paper flowers. And so I have some of Susan's Thinlits from her garden, from Sizzix, and I wanted to customize my own colors. And so I thought if I had a big ink dauber, I could easily color a large piece of paper, given I have so many ink pads and I have a lot of refills that I haven't even touched, and I've had them for years. So if you don't have any recyclable ink pads from your ink containers, don't fret. If you have Tim Holtz applicator, you probably have some refill foam for his applicator. Go ahead and use your Sizzix die. If you're using the smaller circle, you are able to get a circle from his little foam. This is a circle here. I had it on one of my daubers. Well, not this one. This is smaller. I think this one is 1 inch. This one will work perfectly. This is cut from Tim Holtz, and it would fit perfectly onto this spool. So go ahead and use that. Now, Tim Holtz also has the 1 inch circle foam pads that are already cut out. You could pick up those too if you don't have the die. But if you want to do like I did as well, pick you up some of this cut and dry. Now it comes in 2 different types. I have the felt, I have the foam on the way, and the foam is what I really wanted. I started off working with the felt, and the felt is for your dye inks. Like this is a dye ink. It's not made for the pigment ink. But once again, StazOn, their foams took either my dye or pigment ink. So I ordered the foam, hoping that the foam works with both the dye and the pigment ink. I hope so. But if it doesn't, another thing that can be done is you can have an ink applicator on both sides. So you can have one side for your pigment inks and one side for your dye inks. Just a thought. But I'm really, really, really hoping that Ranger's foam pads give me good results with either ink. So let me demonstrate just how easy it is to use this spool ink dauber. So I'm going to use both pigment and dye ink. Just press it in there a couple times. and ink away. I notice when I go in circles, I get more coverage. And so without too much ink, that's how it looks so far. And I was just playing around, and I noticed that when I mix the inks together, I just get a better, look. I really like it. This works so good, and it feels good. Now I'm working with a smaller piece of paper here, but just keep on applying as much ink as you like. That's really cute. You can't even tell that I painted that myself. You would think it was regular cardstock. Yeah, really loving it. And one thing I want to show you as well, if I didn't already point that out, if you have these mini spools, these can also become daubers. Yeah, so look through your collection, see what type of spools you have, and go ahead and make you some custom made do-it-yourself ink daubers. I tell you once again, these look so cute. It's a crafty project, but it's also functional, and I plan on getting a lot of use out of these. And I just think the recycled ink pads are the best. Now let me also state, you may have like dye pads. I don't know if they'll work as good as these stays on ink pads, so you can try it out, whatever works for you. If any of you want to do this project and you decide to do it, please send me a link so I can check out what you create. And be on the lookout for my upcoming video in about a week with, I'm going to have this all this filled up with ink daubers and have this spray painted, and I'll show you guys how the finished project look. Well, thank you guys for watching, and do have a wonderful week.